Okay, so hi everybody, friends, comrades, fellow poets from, this is going to be a list, from Ireland, Scotland, England, Wales, France, USA, Romania, Catalonia, Canada, India, Australia. I'm sorry if I missed anyone out.
Germany.
Am I muted? No, I'm not muted, am I? No. Okay. So this is Live Poets Stand Up to Racism Poetry Marathon, and it is a marathon. We got nearly 50 due to read tonight, so it's our first poetry night, Live Poets first poetry night of 2021, and it's part of the run-up to United Nations International Anti-Racism Day, which is this coming Saturday, the 20th of March. Now, I just say a little about this. The first United Nations Anti-Racism Day was called in the 1960s. It was to mark the Sharpeville massacre. Those long in the tooth here may remember it. It was 69 South African blacks protesting against apartheid were gunned down by the police. And so it was to mark that, really, that the first United Nations Anti-Racism Day was called. And the theme this year, I thought was quite apt, is youth standing up against racism. Because I think young people have played a really prominent role in the Black Lives Matter movement, which really went global in 2020 after the, we need to mute somebody.
It's been 1 year to the day.
Which went global after the police killing of George Floyd. And in the States alone, 15 to 26 million people took part in the 2020 BLM protests, making it one of the largest, if not the largest, movement in the country's history. Okay, just a few points about how you can get involved online on the 20th. Go to Stand Up to Racism's website or Facebook page. I don't know if we can get a live link, not a live link, a link put up on the chat thingy. So basically, on the 20th at 1 p.m. UK time, we're asking people to take the knee wherever you are, okay, and take a photo of it and post it up on social media. There will be other events. Stand Up to Racism are organising other events on that day, some online and some outdoors. And if you're in Wales, we're asking you to take the knee at 5:30 p.m. UK time in solidarity with Swansea City and Cardiff City players who will be taking the knee at the start of the game at that time. Now, I'm hoping that details of these events can be shared either in the chat or on screen. If not, if people can look them up online, if they can Google Stand Up to Racism and Stand Up to Racism Wales. Okay, I also want to mention the Poets Against Racism Poetry Night tomorrow, the 17th of March, organised by Manjit, who is here tonight and will be reading. Okay, some other things I do need to mention. There are ongoing campaigns happening in Wales, in Newport and in Cardiff, after two black men, Moyed Bashir, who was 29, and Mohammed Hassan, who was 24, died after being in police custody. Both arrests were brutal and violent. There have also been disgraceful harassment of protesters, with the activist Bianca Ali fined £1,000 for organising these protests under COVID restrictions. They were entirely safely organised, and she was not the organiser in any event, but still she was hit with this fine. Other people who took part are facing charges or potential charges. These campaigns need our support. Again, if we're able to share details of the campaigns, and I think there's a petition which has already gone over, I think, 30 or 50,000. If people can look for that online, and of course, you know, we've seen more evidence this weekend of police violence against peaceful protests, where the Met assaulted people who'd come to Clapham Common to attend a vigil for Sarah Everard, whose murderer is suspected to be a police officer. And one protester said that while she was shocked by what the police had done, she wasn't actually surprised. She said, as a black woman, it's clear to me that the police will never be our friends. Their whole institution is built on violence to keep us in our place. And what's really worrying is that the bill going through Parliament at the moment will severely curtail our rights to protest, hitting people with fines, etc. So we've got to campaign against it now, and we have to plan how we respond if it becomes law, because it will have a serious impact if it goes through on the BLM movement and on all protests, obviously, but it'll hit the BLM hard. So, you know, it's not just the police, it's also the whole of society, which is riddled with racism, from the criminal justice system to the education system. So sort of ending really on a positive note, I note the toppling of the statue of the slave trade, Edward Colston in Bristol, and of others elsewhere. So the movement sparked by that, which is to decolonize the curriculum, I think is a really hopeful sign, because the real history of the British Empire has been hidden from children for so long that, you know, the time has well past come for people to hear the real story of what the British Empire did. So it's by beginning to raise people's awareness that, you know, movements can begin to be made, you know, and I hope that the poetry tonight can make some small contribution towards this and can actually point the way forwards towards a society where, you know, using Martin Luther King's words, you know, we're not judged by the color of our skin, we are judged by the content of our character, you know. So, if there's anything anybody wants to plug while we're doing this, you know, please feel free to put up a link on the chat function. You know, if there are any events, publications, groups, etc., stick something up on the chat function. Okay, I'm going to just kick off with one part of a poem, not mine, but by this brilliant black American woman, Claudia Rankin, who writes in a sort of it's sort of prose poetry, really. And this is a I'll let it speak for itself. It's called Stop and Frisk. I knew whatever was in front of me was happening, and then the police vehicle came to a screeching halt in front of me, like they were setting up a blockade. Everywhere were flashes, a siren sounding, and a stretched out roar. Get on the ground. Get on the ground now. Then I just knew. And you are not the guy, and still you fit the description, because there is only one guy who is always the guy fitting the description. I left my client's house knowing I would be pulled over. I knew. I just knew. I opened my briefcase on the passenger seat just so they could see. Yes, officer, rolled around on my tongue, which grew out of a bell that could never ring because its emergency was a tolling I was meant to swallow. In a landscape drawn from an ocean bed, you can't drive yourself sane. So angry you are crying. You can't drive yourself sane. This motion wears a guy out. Our motion is wearing you out, and still you are not that guy. Then flashes a siren, a stretched out roar, and you are not the guy, and still you fit the description, because there is only one guy who is always the guy fitting the description. Get on the ground. Get on the ground now. I must have been speeding. No, you weren't speeding. I wasn't speeding. You didn't do anything wrong. Then why are you pulling me over? Why am I pulled over? Put your hands where they can be seen. Put your hands in the air. Put your hands up. Then you were stretched on the hood. Then cuffed. Get on the ground now. Okay, that's completely mind-blowing. It's part of what is a longer poem, to say, called Stop and Frisk. So, okay, we'll move on to the other poets this evening. So I'll read out, I think, 3 or 4 at a time, so people have got some idea when they're coming up. This was, I think, put up on the chat group, but I will read out 3 or 4 in advance. Hang on, I gotta pour myself some water here. My mouth is dry. Okay, so that was me gone. So we'll have Dave Clinch, followed by who I know as a Rainbow Ashwood, followed by Xavier, followed by David Lee Morgan. Okay, so I gotta remind people, try to stick to the 3-minute limit. We've got a lot of people to get through, and the more disciplined you are, the more people we can fit in. Okay, so I'll kick off over to you, Dave Clinch. Oh, he runs the Reforming in Devon music and poetry group. Cheers, Dave.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me, and having me on almost first. I was deluding myself that I was going to be first, like Richie Havens was at Woodstock in 1969. And behind me, you can see a guitar, which is actually a Richie Havens signature guitar. I play the guitar like him. So blown away. However, I'm going to read a poem today called The Sea is Slavery, and it fits with the history that has been brought back, and which in education, for example, people are being forced to look at the decolonization of the curriculum. And I was inspired to write this by the writing of Marcus Rediker, a historian who wrote a book called The Slave Ship, A Human History, and also the work of Fred Degar, who wrote a novel called Feeding the Ghosts, which was about partly factual, partly fictional, about the Zong, where slave owners or slave traders threw slaves across over the side of the ship into the sea because they were sick and they could pick up the insurance in Bristol when they got there. So this is what this is about. The sea is slavery. 400 years across the waves, the nameless dead are gathering. Bodies cast from their wooden dungeons, engulfed by the mighty Atlantic waters, eroded by the constant movement of the wild, restless waves deep beneath, corroded by the salt, finally erased. Where are our names? The ones we pass on to our children? No, not those imposed upon us by captors and dealers, as our stolen bodies are marched and coffled towards the waiting slavers, nor those attached to us in the tortuous fields of cotton and cane, or in the homes of the rich masters. No, where are our names? The ones bestowed upon us by those who brought us to life, who loved us, who shaped our identity. Sold, resold, renamed, again, again, again. Yara, yara, kikaraboo, kikaraboo. We are sick, we are dying. On this hellish middle passage, our torture sustained for hundreds of years across the wild, roaring Atlantic waves, the space we will always occupy, limbo. We will not die. You made your wealth from the theft of our bodies, ourselves, from the slave labor that you forced upon us. Our memory, opaque, our history, fractured, our present, haunted by loss, our unknown predecessors, our names for which Malcolm took an X. No, we will not die. Still we struggle to be free at last. Thank you.
That's brilliant. That's really excellent poem, Dave. Thank you. Okay, so I'm not sure if we have Rainbow Ashwood with us.
Doesn't seem to be here at the moment. I'll chase up.
Right. Okay. So, how about Xavier? Do we have Xavier?
I think.
Hello, man. Good to see you. Right.
You all right, guys?
Yeah, we're cool. How are you doing?
Just putting the light.
Yeah.
The performance light, you see, so I look so, Mediterranean and aggressive and macho and all that people, all those wrong things that people assume I am. Anyway.
I thought it made you look rather saintly, actually.
Oh wow, that's a new one.
Okay, hit it, Xavier. You've got 3 minutes.
Yeah, okay. In Catalan and in English, okay?
Okay.
The meaning of life. El temps s'atura. silenciant el piano, obstruint el clarinet, apagant el tambor. El telèfon és sord i no pot escoltar els laments del gos al costat del fèretre. Una rotllana dels coloms atrau l'atenció dels ignorants. Ha escrit el cel: ha mort! Posem llaços de crepa al voltant del coll blanc de l'enllumenat públic. Deixem que els policies de trànsit suportin guants de cotó negre. Estem perduts. Eres el nostre nord, sud, est i oest. Era sempre amb nosaltres. Al migdia, a mitjanit, a la setmana laboral, al descans del diumenge, en xerrades, cançons i en l'amor. Ara, has apagat els estels, has empaquetat la lluna, has desmuntat el sol, has abocat l'oceà en la foscor. Per què? Perquè res no pot arribar mai a ser res. And now I'll do it in English, okay?
Cool. Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah. So, the meaning of life. Time stops, muting the piano, obstructing the clarinet, turning off the drums. The phone is deaf, cannot hear the dog's moans next to the coffin. A circle of pigeons attracts the attention of the ignored. They have written in heaven, it has died. Put crepe ties around the white neck of a streak lightning. Let traffic cops wear black cotton gloves. We are lost. You were our north, south, east and west. You were always with us. During the work week, during the Sunday break, at noon, at midnight, in talks, songs, and love. Now you turn off the stars. You pack the moon. You have dismantled the sun. You have plunged the ocean into darkness. Why? Why? Because nothing can ever become anything. That's it.
That's great. It's a very expressive language, which actually makes me think there are echoes of Welsh in bits of it, I think. Okay, right.
Actually, I just realized that was actually the second point I had in choice. There was a previous one. Well, use it next time because it's more about hunger and etc. But anyway, this one was a thing more of a internal, like the meaning of life in these times of struggle.
Yeah, I got a strong sense of alienation out of it. So
exactly, that's the point. Thank you.
Okay, right, we're gonna have to move on.
Of course.
We've next got David Lee Morgan, followed by Pankhuri Sinha, followed by Mary Kay. So we'll start off with David Lee Morgan. Hello.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Tim. Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me here.
David Lee Morgan, from the USA, but living in London at the moment. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to do a poem. This is a poem from my most recent small book, Nazis Need Jews. It's published by South London Poetry Books for a $5. You can get it at any bookstore, but you can also get a free ebook copy from me if you want one. I've never done this poem outside of the context of the book, so we'll see how it goes. Building a nation on stolen land. Sometimes it's all about David and Goliath. Sometimes Goliath imagines he's David. It never was a land without people. That was the problem from the start. It still is. Too many Arabs and not enough Jews. Too many Arabs and not enough Jews. You want to be a democracy, but what can you do when there's too many Arabs and not enough Jews? You were so idealistic. That's how it seemed to me. Socialist kibbutzim, parliamentary democracy, freedom of speech, even for the Arabs, what was left of them. By the time I understood the truth, it was only getting worse. The logic of the situation driving you ever deeper into insanity. How can you be a democratic invasion? How can you be an apartheid democracy? Too many Arabs and not enough Jews. Too many Arabs and not enough Jews. You want to be a democracy, but what can you do when there's too many Arabs and not enough Jews? Wars cost money. Guns cost. Airplanes, bombs, missiles, tanks, they all cost money. And Israel doesn't have oil, but it does have a good buddy. I'm going to start that slide and go back a bit because of the feedback. Wars cost money, guns cost, airplanes, bombs, missiles, tanks, they all cost money. And Israel doesn't have oil, but it does have a good buddy. Hello, Battleship Israel, commissioned by the USA. They give you guns and gold. You give them your children as stormtroopers, as executioners, dead souls, and it's you killing them. You begin to dream about a truly American solution. Maybe not the slave trade, but what about genocide? Sure, it's ugly for a while, but once most of them are gone and enough time goes by, you can make movies about them to show how sad you are. The golden age of Hollywood reborn, cowboys and Arabs. Too many Arabs and not enough Jews. Too many Arabs and not enough Jews. You want to be a democracy, but what can you do when there's too many Arabs and not enough Jews? Does Israel have the right to exist? No. Jews have a right to live there in peace and harmony. Arabs have a right to live there in peace and harmony. But no matter what it says on the BBC, no matter how loud Israel shouts, it's not about Jews. It's about a settler state that claims to be Jewish, claims it is an excuse, claims it is a cover. No matter how many actual Jews living on this planet say, no, you're not us. You're nothing like us. It's not about Jews. It's about a showcase for modern day genocide. Look what we can do and get paid for it. You can do it too. And the lesson is being learned. Fascists all over the world are taking heart. They're cheering you on. They love Israel, but they still hate Jews.
That's really powerful stuff, man. And aimed straight at the heart of one of the worst examples of institutionalized bloody racism in the world today, really. Our whole state built on racism. Okay, wow.
I was a little hesitant to do it outside the book because it is in the context of the rise of there is a real rise of anti-Semitism in the world.
Yeah, of course. You know, and that's incredibly serious, and we should take it seriously. But you make it absolutely clear that what is being talked about here is not Jews, but the existence of the state of Israel.
Yes.
Built upon a racial foundation in the first place. And yes, you know, Jews and Arabs did in past centuries live there together peacefully, you know. Anyway, I mustn't get completely bogged down in this. Okay, that fantastic poem. So we have Panghuri from India, studying in the USA, followed by Mary Kay, followed by Ian Poznansky. Okay, so Panghuri, over to you.
Say there's no Mary Kay.
Okay. How are you, Panghuri?
Hi, I am doing good. Thank you. How are you, Tim?
Yes, we're well.
Good, thank you. Hello, everybody. Good evening. And I'm actually going to read a poem that is called Campus Police. It's based on my own experience a little bit, and what I saw around me is from my book of poems called Dear Society. Hosting a harassment filing competition almost. The campus police taking over as a voice of the powerful, a strange bar mediator, becoming the mighty, the voice of the establishment, becoming one with them, speaking in their voice. Their views against you, always against you. You, the newcomer, you, the dreamer, to the extent against you as to get you out of the picture, removed forever from all frames of power. Are these your keys? Are these your keys? Still asks the officer in my nightmares. But the campus police, leaping, lunging its car in an animated movement rhythmical with my phone calls, quietly walking by, bicycling with a smirky face, bicycling just to cross paths, bicycling just to bicycle in front, standing before posters of messages extremely relevant, pertinent to the moment, pertinent to the theft of my letter, my immigration papers as important as stamps of immigration. Standing then in front of the paper posters, mimicking the style of the culprit, the aggressor, the harasser who won over me, and still such an enigma, the campus police, the handcuff-carrying, steel-bodied, armor-plated, copper-handed, gold-toothed campus police surveying young students in a fair county, first world. Thank you.
That's brilliant. Thank you, Bankuri. That was really, really great that you could join us from India for this International Day Against Racism. Yeah, that's brilliant. Thank you so much. Okay, we're going to have to move along to Ian Przansky from London, followed by, I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, tell me if I'm wrong, Merrick Sell, I'm not sure if it's Sales or Sales, from Catalonia, followed by Julie Easley from North Yorkshire, then by Lucia de Ramos from Romania. Okay, I've read a few down so people can get ready in time. Okay.
I'm not sure if Maritza is here actually. So.
Okay. That's fine. So, Ian. Hi, mate.
Tim. Hi. Hope you're well. Hope everyone's good. Okay. This is a brief spoken word piece. Really, it explores when times are tough, society can split. Sometimes pushed by political agendas, also people blaming, and of course enhanced by inequality and our good friend social media. So, haven't thought of a title, but okay, I'll crack on. I look and see young people today, they seem more socially aware than in my day. With sparks in their eyes, they step up, synchronise and scrutinise. For the good of society, they work to build improvement, with noble causes like BLM and the climate movement. I see the electorate injected with a social media infection. Does this digital way show accurate political information? Or is it just a way to bypass the usual journalistic scrutiny, created to spark the electorate with a racial immunity? To me, I simply see divisive information splitting our community. I love London with its diverse mix of accents, names and faces. We don't need Tory laureates with adverts trundling in marginal places, creating mistrust against anyone with accents and different faces. Illegal here, go home, face arrest. No, the truth is crudely repressed. So, take an interest in politics, jump in, for we shouldn't be suppressed. We are partially lucky to live within some remnant of democracy, but politicians play the celebrity game with just a little bit of hypocrisy. Yes, it slots in neatly with a so-called new patriotic government policy. So click your name, like and share if you agree, and who cares if it's true? Really, how did it come to this? With blame, divide and rule. EDL, the Tories and Farage, they serve to wreck our campaign for unity, blaming our problems on foreigners arriving from sea. For the problem is not immigration. What about uncapped capitalism? enhanced by inequality, poverty, and maybe just some targeted racism. My family came from Hungary as refugees in '56. We were mostly isolated from the friendly neighbour cliques. Comments were sometimes made, but I can't compare. As being white, I dodged the brunt of racial warfare. So we all have a responsibility to stand up in the community. So greet that old person with a different face and build them some unity. Maybe offer to carry their shopping. And if you're Irish, build them top of the morning. Soon we'll all be mixed race. So what's with all the attitude? Get me a date with Alicia Keys and I'll be full of gratitude. Trouble is, when economies go on a downward spiral, it always goes back to the political trick of divide and rule. So don't question the immigrant on the boat, but just the rulers in their system, as no one ever deserves to be a racial victim. Racism was used to justify the empire's creation. Today it's all migrant bashing with racial narration against a landscape of inequality, austerity and depredation. Welcome to Britain, a popularist and polarised scheme. Welcome to Britain, the inequality can make you insane. Welcome to Britain, let's come together, all work for a society which is fairer and ease this pain.
That's brilliant. Ian,
thank you.
Thank you. That was a heartfelt laying out of the way things were. I thought that was brilliant.
Thank you.
Okay, slight readjustment here. So we'll have, I think, Julie Easley, followed by Lucia Daramus, followed by Harry Rogers, and then I was thinking of flipping in Rodri. If you're there, Rodri, we'll get you in earlier. Okay. So Julie.
Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Great.
Off you go.
Thanks for having me. I'm going to do 2 short poems, and they're both up on my YouTube channel, Julie Easley Poet. And the first one's called Imagine. Imagine you had just crossed the sea, crashed out of the waves, fell down onto your knees. Imagine your kids strapped to your sides, their lives wrapped in plastic, snapped and tagged for all the front pages. Imagine that journey, the swell of fear in your mind, the relief of the sand as your feet hit the ground. Imagine being met by military might, their strength and power transposed onto you. Imagine being met by all that force. Imagine the drowning of your spirit. No elastic collision to keep you afloat. Imagine the danger, your desperation. Imagine the spectacle of media. Transmission is live on the 6 o'clock news, your conduction and charge in full public view. Imagine if none of this were true. Thanks. So my second, thank you.
Yeah.
Second poem is called They Really Don't Care. And this is my newest poem, I've just written this. And this is dedicated to the fantastic Leeds poet Michelle Scully Clark. Scully Clark once told me, your language defines you. She said, oh, hang on. My phone's going off. Hang on one sec. Let's turn it off. Right, okay, sorry. Scully Clark once told me your language defines you. She said, your words hold power. Yet all I hear are their lies designed to divide us. All I hear in their words is they really don't care. They tell us black lives really don't matter. They tell us Grenfell will never see justice. They tell us protest is pretty damn dreadful, while their dog whistle lies repeat in the papers. They demonise those peacefully kneeling. They demonise those defending diversity. They demonise those holding the mirror, reflect with their flag-waving nationalist words. How can we know each other when one side is hidden? When the lack of black history is seen as a given? When white comfortability informs the decision? When the cost of colonialism is kept invisible? They really don't care if they deport black British citizens. They really don't care about representation. They really don't care about police brutality. They really don't care about equal opportunity. They really don't care about racial equality. They really don't care if Black Lives Matter. They really don't care that much at all. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Brilliant. Thank you, Julie. Great stuff. Great stuff. Powerful stuff. Okay. Do we have Lucia?
Yes, I am here.
Okie dokie. Lucia from Romania?
Yes.
Okay. Off you go.
Yes, my poem will be reading in some line in Roma language, in Spanish and more, and is dedicated to all women of our world. So,
okay.
We, by Lucia Daramus. Ame sam Romnia, sam Gilabadu casa, sam necăjine, sam sucarandi viața, con merel, sam rabal cai trebul de has, sam muzica andailo lumii. Ame sam Romnia, ame sam Romnia. Somos mujeres, la canción del dolor, somos tristeza, somos el fruto de la vida que está muriendo, apasionadas como somos, a probar frutas del sureste. Somos mujeres, somos mujeres. Somos música en el corazón de la luz. Somos mujeres, somos mujeres. It is the middle of our spring, yes, our spring, and willows are crying under orange trembling of the sky. Trees, the beating soul of life, are kneeling ahead humans. In a holy dark of spring, a woman feeds her baby. Her heart is fearful, yes, fearful, like a ship on a rough ocean, under the fractured light. She is alone on the street with her baby. Only the Milky Way is lighting her life. Make of yourself a light, said Buddha, through his divine voices 5. She is with her baby, her cuddles. She is a light, a light, a light. She never smelt a rose in a home, but she has as a garden entire flight through her baby. Under the rays of the moon, her child dreams easily, like a breath of rain under the sky. In the dark, stars are showing her a path to life. She begs from the wind a song. Swish, 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 the most beautiful lullaby for her baby. She is alone, alone, alone on the streets in need. People are passing nearby. They are smiling, they are chanting, they are full of life. They do not notice this homeless woman. They do not smell the raw milk of the breast. Then they come, the 4 landmen with eyes as spherical as lunch bowl and eyebrows like razor sharp, close. They whispered, "Do you see this woman? I don't like a beggar in my town." Their words sounded like a wild fur droplet on my mind. The world is shining in shops' windows. Exotic smells are rising from restaurants, but on the neat streets a woman, she is alone, alone, a woman with her baby, beyond stars for this child. In the soil is smelling of hold out to the mortals. It is a fire in my soul, and the blood in my teeth, a strong wind in my breast, and a wonderful desire in my feet. I'm walking along with this woman, and along with another woman, and others, and millions of other women, because we are women. We are women. Eimaste Gyunaikes, noi suntem femei. Somos mujeres, noi siamo donne. Mulieres sumus, ame sam Romnia. Please don't call this woman a beggar, or if you like, name all of us vagrant and vagabond, slogging our life and our drop of bread. This woman, with her baby, is in a narrow cage of life. She has only her baby, sleeping on this stark road. Is a lack of hope on the teeth of a knife. She is a yard bird, but the yard bird is a bird, kept singing in its own tomb of dream. A bird is dreaming to freedom, a bird woman to life. Leave us to live, to be alive, alive, alive. The woman on the street picked up her tears, leaving them to fly to the sky, caught by a predictable movement of a God spy. Do you know, dear lady, she said, maybe you don't believe me, but the food for today cost me in body language term. It has turned me upside down, pulling me in a black dark prison of my body, in a dark shallow space of this town. I wish I could play in a famous painting, having on my head a blue and golden turban, pearl earring and a gold jacket, pretending to be enigmatic, in a house with sofas and chairs, red onion, cheese, potatoes on a table. But all of these are dreams in my crown. I kneed my soul in front of her dream, actually our dream, and gave her a rose to pop in her dusky hair. She smiled, a tear falling down in a feast of grains, together murmuring, you society cannot stop us blooming the rights and our thoughts, feeling turning away from the blazing painting of our vocation in our souls portray. We are women, the same souls of a walking way. Somos mujeres, la canción del dolor. Somos tristeza, somos el fruta de la vida que está muriendo, apasionadas como somos, a probar frutas del sureste. Somos mujeres, somos mujeres. Somos música en el corazón de la luz. Somos mujeres, somos mujeres. Ame sam Romnia, sam Gilabadu Casa, sam necăjine, sam sucar andi viața con merel, sam rabai cai trăbul de has, sam muzica anda ilo lumii. Ame sam Romnia, ame sam Romnia. Thank you.
Tim, you're muted.
You're muted, Tim.
Right, okay. Mitchell.
Still muted.
Okay, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes? Okay, thank you. Okay, so Harry Rogers, followed by Finn Hall, followed by Christine Dobbs and Rodri Francis. Yep. Okay, so starting off then with Harry Rogers from Red Poets, Wales. Can I remind people to try to keep to the 3-minute limit, really? That, you know, if you go over for 6 minutes, then you're essentially nicking somebody else's slot. Okay, Harry, off you go, man.
Thank you, and greetings from West Wales. I live near Newcastle, Emlyn. I wrote this poem the day before the vigil in Clapham. In the new Tory police bill, they refer to aggravated activism as an offence. This poem calls for aggravated activists to come together, and it's called Join the AA. Aggravation will drive me to action when ritzy apologists treat us like wasps trapped inside hand-carved wooden bottles as they poke us with sticks through tiny holes to make us buzz for their perverse pleasure. That's the moment I get aggravated. The way establishment figures believe they have an inalienable right to continue to behave as if they are, in some strange way, better than we are, entitled to exploit us for profit, entitled to avoid their share of tax, swan around in sun-seeker luxury, stir up racial hatred to break our class, destroy all semblance of right to protest. These are some things that will aggravate me. So yes, you can say I'm an activist, and also, damn right, I'm aggravated. It seems now, as people promised a return to the old normal Shangri-La, is the moment to enact a state coup. Well, they can criminalise activism through ill-defined state-run aggravation. Their problem is they can't defeat ideas. Join us as aggravated activists. Pissed off by the descent to fascism? Join AA today. Unite makes sense. Thank you.
That was brilliant. That was brilliant. I think of the AAA, the Aggravated Activist Alliance. I think I can see a new party. Brilliant.
Thanks
man.
a lot.
Okay.
Can I just say that the news is just in that the second reading of the Police Crime Sentencing Courts Bill has passed by a majority of 96.
Right.
So it's had its second reading, so it's even more bloody dangerous.
Right. So how many readings is that all it needs? Or does it need a third reading?
It needs a third reading. It has to go to
the third reading.
It needs to go to the Lords, but they've got such a vast majority. But I just thought it's flashed up on my screen.
Yeah, no, it's worth.
Particularly
it's worth
after that
knowing.
Fantastic poem. I'll shut up now, though.
No, brilliant. Thanks for letting me know.
Cheers.
That makes me doubly bloody aggravated, actually. Well, we need to think about what we do when they impose this shit. I think that Clapham Common, the response of people to that is probably shows us something of the way. Anyway, okay.
Just to say, there's no Finn, so I think it will be Christine.
No Finn. So, okay, Christine Dobbs from Swansea, and then Rodri Francis, also from Swansea. We're getting local here now. Okay. Okay, so Christine?
Yes, here I am.
Yep.
The debut poetry.
Do I need to press anything or do I suddenly appear?
You're fine. Just carry on reading.
I have appeared. Oh, there I am.
Yes, there
Hello,
you are.
me. Yes, thank you everyone for having me.
Thanks for coming.
My poem is entitled White Privilege, and I'd like to say there's a nod to John Milton in this, and a huge shout out to the rapper Dave, who was, especially his song Black, has been a huge inspiration in me writing this poem. Okay, so White Privilege. When I consider how my life's been spent, over half my days in this dark world and wide, and that one privilege that I cannot hide, lodged with me useless. Useless? Useless sometimes, that I cannot deny. Matching the description of being black or brown, not white, reasonable grounds for stop and search, a body search not out of bounds. But my body will not be searched, my white body will not be searched. The invention of the nation state, the imposition of the nation state, the installation of democracy, the bias of meritocracy, prisons and cages, even golden cages, refugee camps and inhumane rights, racists and even a little bit racists, and my heart rages. My white heart rages. No blacks, no dogs and rivers of blood, Windrush lives and Windrush lies, Grenfell lives and Grenfell deaths, PTSD and suicide, drowning in the dangerous tide, another life choked to death, another life stabbed to death, another life banged up for life, and my heart breaks. My white heart breaks. I am white, I cannot deny. I sometimes feel powerless, I cannot deny. But I am an ally. I will not only stand and wait. They do not serve those who only stand and wait.
That's great. Thank you, Christine. Again, a powerful message. Some good anti-racist poems are coming out tonight. So, Rodri Francis. I know Rodri has been involved in the campaign around the Swansea City Football Club, around the taking of the knee, and also the fact, I think, that some far-right elements were attempting to disrupt that. So, Rodri, if you'd like to say something about this, please.
Yes, taking of the knee. I'm multitasking at the moment. As I'm with you today, I'm seeing my club are 1-0 down at Bournemouth. Bournemouth have just scored. But what's most significant about tonight is that Bournemouth did not take the knee. One black player took the knee, and the whole Swansea City team took the knee. And I don't understand why that. At the end of the day, what's more important than any football results is that racism is eradicated completely out of society. And that's what will happen on Saturday at 29 minutes past 5, Cardiff and Swansea City. I'm a massive Swansea City supporter. We'll join together as brothers and sisters just before the match in unity while taking the knee in the fight against racism. Rivals on the pitch, united against racism. Who would have thought Swansea City and Cardiff City fans, two of the most fierce rivals in football in the UK and in Europe, across the world, coming together. When a few of us came together and thought the idea of Swansea Cardiff fans coming together on anything, people thought, well, that's just crazy. That's just never going to happen. But we proved people wrong. We've come together, about 20-25 of us, to basically coincide with Swansea playing Cardiff on Saturday. It's, as you know, United Nations Anti-Racism Day. And Swansea and Cardiff City will make a joint statement as clubs to say that, and to emphasise that even though that we are rivals on the pitch, we are united as brothers and sisters against racism. We've had support all over the world, not just in the UK, all around the world. The other day we had a massive support from Australia with a simple message that we're rivals, and while we're rivals on the pitch, we are united against racism. And this is a massive point in football. This is a revolutionary moment where two, and I will say bluntly, two unfortunately hated football clubs, fans have hated each other. Unfortunately, that hatred has been there, but for decades. I don't think that's there anymore. I don't feel it, because it's taken something like this for us to join together. But it's so important. It is so powerful. And I plead with you, please, 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 please. And 20 minutes past 9, whether you're a football fan, Swansea fan, Cardiff fan, or any other club, or even if you're a non-football fan, please, please, please take the knee at 29 minutes past 5 when Swansea and Cardiff City players will join together as brothers and sisters, and when all of us, all Swansea and Cardiff City, will join together in the fight against racism. Bless you all. Thank you very much.
That's brilliant. Thank you, Rodri. So, if you're in Wales, or I guess even if you're not, 5:30 on Saturday the 20th, and take a photo of that, post it up on social media in solidarity with Black Lives Matter. Okay, so we'll have we're sort of coming up to the break. We'll have one Rivas, we'll have Mervyn, Say Right, and we'll have Special K.
Rebecca first.
Oh yes, good heavens! Sorry, I wrote over that. Okay, sorry. Rebecca, followed by Juan, followed by Mervyn. Okay, so Rebecca, Juan, and Mervyn. Okay, off you go, Rebecca. Hi, good to see you.
Hi, can you hear me okay? Great, glad to see everybody. I'm going to read a poem. It's from my new book, which came out this week, called Our Father Eclipse, which is available from Culture Matters, and I've got signed copies available from me as well. The poem I'm going to read is called I Had a Dream. It was inspired by Martin Luther King Day, and it's a general kind of wondering, what sorts of dreams do we have and what would happen to them today. So it's called I Had a Dream. I had a dream for a better world, but then the cynics moved in and told me that since human beings are naturally selfish, greedy and bigoted, I might as well stop dreaming and move on. I had a dream, so I bottled it and packaged it, outsourcing production to China to save costs. I had a dream, so I set up my own dream company, trademark, copyright, registering it in the Cayman Islands to avoid paying taxes. I have my patented dreamers, copyright, working a 0 hours contract. I will not share my dreams because they are already trademarked. I had a dream to start a revolution, but decided to send an email instead. I've copied and pasted the contents of somebody else's dream and sent it to my MP, who will place it in their in tray along with all the other dreams they choose to ignore. I had a dream to change the world, but the world changed me. I had a dream that every computer in the world switched off and people had to cope with the radical notion of speaking to one another. And I had a nightmare of a government who sold weapons of mass destruction to oppressive regimes and called it the perfect business plan. I had a better dream that one day we will finally realize that all the money in the world does not compensate for that sickening gnaw in the gut of knowing you have caused the deaths of innocent people. I had a dream that we should put down our weapons, but everybody called me a threat to national security. I had a dream, but everybody laughed at me and called me a dreamer. I had a vision, but they called me insane. I had a dream, and dreams are powerful, dangerous things, for every revolution started with a dream and every prophet was once a dreamer. I have a dream. And dreams cannot be tamed. Dreams cannot be molded or confined or forced into conformity. Dreams have a habit of multiplying. Dreams are contagious. Dreams, when they start to believe in themselves, are unstoppable. Dream with me. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Rebecca.
Thank
Puts
you.
me in mind of the old 68 slogan, all power to the imagination. Excellent. Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that's great. So we have next we have Juan Rivas, based in London, I believe.
Hello.
Hello, man. Hi.
Yeah. So I feel very welcomed and to be on this platform, speaking with other fellow poets, and I feel that this in particular, this international sort of stage for poets to talk about the refugees, you know, kind of experiencing all around the world, the sensation of not having a home. Me personally, coming from, you know, my parents originally from countries where they had to seek refuge and sort of, you know, take that journey that every refugee really dreads, and coming to this country and settling. It's my poem is kind of based on that celebration of refuge, finding a new home, and what it's like to leave the place where you were born, your motherland. So let me begin. Hailing from the southern continent, the chains that they bear with constant lament. Freedom was blossoming as a luring scent, and so from rubble, a footprint heralds struggle. First one slave, then another begins to rattle. From this is born the capoeira rebel in tatters, like these freedom dancers that did not grovel, their homes pillaged as were their souls pummeled. So did they fight back in drumming solidarity, lest we not forget the samba spirit of immortality. The inanimate is brought to life as arms are flung. The moon engages in its dance with the sun, and so begins the Maori haka, aboriginal in tongue. They sound their battle cry in protest of their tribe, denouncing the arrival of hymns that deny their culture seized, torn from the womb that binds. As they stamp hectically on their colonizer's grave, now begins the flamenco of gypsies that dance with rain, possessed by the succubus that grabs her soul, the peak of resistance to the land that is whole. Mama Africa cools so wildly beneath red sand. Oh, how they seek to flee their own land, yet how they dance with freedom so glad. Muhammad Ali, his graceful butterfly wings flapping, where seekers of refuge rope-a-dope on the brink of crossing their dance with the sea as they sink. Starvation occurs in the blink of an eye so blind. Are we in tandem clandestine with waves that we ride? And the Palestinian land annexed, aloof, that falls in line, dances with ghosts of those dead and left behind. And what of the Irish, the dance to salvation, the kicks and flurries of their ire elation, of their apartheid to the river they were sold, and a bloody Sunday was the day of their toll. Made refugees in their own forsaken home, bereft of entitlement where a sonnet was flown. The dance of crossing rivers to the sound of a bomb, jumping into history that takes precedent overnight. The Maasai tower into the skies, overlooking giants. They are free, but endangered by poachers of lions. So ferocious with their sprouting bounds, their legs are trees, so sturdy in the ground. But in the towns, the people suffer in their mounds. To find another way, they shift their feet to the beat that drums their heart, and so often is so dark, towards the earth that we inhabit as a raft. The Machi plays her culture into the stars, uniting refugees who are free at last to dance. Thank you.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant stuff, man.
Thank you very much, man.
That's really powerful statement that covered a real load of interconnected things. Okay, thanks very much, Juan. And we'll have Mervyn, and then I was thinking we'll have a break, 5-minute break, and then we'll kick off the the next half with Special K. So thanks again for that one. Really good stuff. Okay, so we'll move on now to Mervyn. Okay, and you're in Swansea, yeah?
No. So my family's Jamaican. I was born in London, grew up in Suffolk and Ipswich, have an American accent, and I currently live in Germany.
All right. Yeah. God, I've got the wrong thing. All right. Brilliant.
All right. I hate following Juan. That was amazing. So, add respect.
Thank you so much, my brother. Thank you, brother.
Same.
Thank you.
This piece, I'm just going to go into it. The world is not a kind place. The world is not a kind place to each moment lived. I hold on to kind moments, crocheting them tight enough to recognize the episodes from the Earth's space. Dandelions bring vibrant yellow light before they feather into the maze of weeds each day I navigate. I see eyes around me holding on to past aggressions, guns over spears, slicing families, suffocating education to oppress opportunities I fight to gain. I will seek chess patterns of strategy not to resign my king. My voice isn't lyrical, not the Blue Jays whisper that I am watched in corner stores, down dark-lit streets in gated communities, waiting on the called attention to the authorities. I feel fear through blacked out tunnels without infrared goggles when I am not seen from those others aligned to the majority's behavior, voices, fashion, expressions making a demographic majority comfortable. Is it their fault based on the percentages and averages? Even businesses create change for process improvement based on the 80% rule. Culturally, colored people are not starlings moving in spherical dimensions, barely the 20% in most countries historically with English as their primary language. Braille has my fingers feeling bumps to gain sight, rewrite instructions with weapons of authenticity, or do I wrap myself in transparency around myself in a cloak of submission to exist? I guess decisions are about risk. Like details to these colorblind, only awoken by viral videos recycled as Black faces expire. Cameras not catching mothers teaching lessons of fear to Black children. The Black chess pieces moving after white, still not as the numbers of Black fathers sunken from exclusion, exorcism, execution. I breathe possibilities in generations to come. Hope in holding on to my son, placing my forehead on his in an ancestral prayer, telling him, you are loved. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. Great, Mervyn. That was incredibly moving stuff. Thank you. Thank you very much. Really powerful stuff. Okay, we're gonna have a short break now so that people can just stretch legs, get a drink of whatever, and just get ready for the next session, which will be kicking off with Special K. Okay, 5-minute break.
Mervyn, that was out of this world. And same with you, Juan. There's been some magic poems tonight, but. Well, thanks.
Hello, welcome back. Tim will be with us in a moment. Perhaps I should just read through the list of who we've got next. I think Tim is on his way. I hear him. We're going to start with Special K, then Marky. I think he's here. Are you here, Mark? Yeah, let's have a look.
Right. Okay. Are we ready to roll?
Yeah.
Yeah, you all waiting for me. Oh my God, how embarrassing. Okay, right. So we'll kick off this next section of Life Poets Stand Up to Racism with, from the USA, Special K. Welcome, Special K. Good to see you.
All right. There's a price to be paid to be free. Patrick Henry said, "Give me liberty or give me death." Harriet Tubman said she would shoot anyone who made a sound or dared turn around. There is a price to be paid to be free. I don't know who said ignorance is bliss, but I do know this. Stockholm Syndrome is a real thing. Now, that's not to say I live happily every day under my oppressor's thumb, but only that sometimes the beat of my ancestors' drum goes dim, and I wonder if the rhythm is done. The sound drowned out by the incessant noise of the same old wheel. There is a price to be paid to be free. Hush now. Can the spirits of my long dead relatives feel that the revolution has begun? There is a price to be paid to be free. And I was never meant to teach young Black boys how to be Black men. But I've been forced to learn because the world I live in has shaken its fist angrily and banged its gavel down, issuing the decree, an unspoken rule that they would tear apart the Black family. And they do this by creating a pipeline to prison straight from school this way. They would trap little Black boys before they turned into Black men. And they'd starve them of the nurturing that can only come from a woman's embrace. Then they'd condition them to only feel masculine when they were put on display or kept in a cage. Then they said there's just a little bit more. We'll set them free every 3 years or so, give them just enough time to procreate before we round them up and bring them back so we can continue to feel safe. And that recipe doesn't end there, see. We'll fill their women with heaps of self-hate and bombard them with ads to bleach their skin. We won't have to lift a finger if we keep them in poverty, programming them to self-destruct from within. This is the American dream, a tapestry woven together with the fabric of the white man's construction. But this, they never counted on. This their eyes could not fathom. Before there was them, there was Mother Africa, Eve and Adam, and their lessons flow through my veins like rum in the pits of drunken men, and the drum call sounds with every spasm of my beating heart. I am the daughter of them, and I was never meant to become, a Black woman, and I was never built for destruction. And I was never meant to teach Black boys how to become Black men. But you have made it your mission to kill each one of them, thus changing my life's course and making me a fierce protector of them. And we've already established you're not much on the education of a Black nation, so I must raise my voice. I was never meant to teach Black boys how to be Black men. But the police have become daily assassins, always itching for a lynching and no longer satisfied with the death rate of Black men in their old systems. I was never meant to be anything more than just a woman, Black woman, living life abundantly and free. But you You have constantly labeled me angry because I've held my tongue, and more so now because I refuse to let black men die so young. And yet, there is nothing new under the sun, and so history demands that I, a black woman, rise. George Floyd was never meant to be forever remembered in martyrdom. But the door was opened, and with cries for "Mama!" and struggling breaths, he walked in. I was never meant to teach black boys how to become black men. But your triumphant cries of the South rising again have forced my hand, and I should not have to legislate the color of my skin to protect black men. But until this is something we can all agree upon, I promise I will stay with your black son. And I will continue in this trajectory, not just until justice is won, but until we've all been healed from the killing and murder of Emmett Till. Only then can we say we are all created equally. Thanks so much.
Brilliant stuff, Special
I gotta say yes.
High
You shout that
octane,
voice,
high
girl.
energy. Brilliant, thank you. I was so glad you could be with us tonight. From over in Virginia, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You've really made a fantastic impact on the whole evening. Thank you. Okay, we're gonna have to move along. Right, okay. The next three up will be Marky Mark Simmons, Des Manet, and Richard Harris.
I'm not sure if Marky's here at the moment, so.
Okay, so Des will go first. Des, Richard, and then Rosie.
All right.
So
where do we start?
Des from the far-flung reaches of Newport. Des, do you wanna hit it, mate?
Yeah.
I should say Des has Sodom and Tomorrow is that the name of the book?
Yeah, that's correct.
Brilliant. A new book
that.
out, Sodom and Tomorrow, which is a fantastic title alone.
Thank you.
Okay, brilliant. Des, take it away, man.
Right, I don't know where we begin, from the horrific stuff at the weekend to the BLM stuff to the way that Pretty Vacant is trying to strengthen the police even more. I want to start with a quote from the late but great CLR James, because this is all about the haves trying to stop the have-nots from having any rights at all. So, as CLR once said, the rich are only defeated when running for their lives. And my take on the whole weekend stuff is, don't just get incensed, get fucking incendiary. And with that in mind, I'll just do an old poem. It's about an act or a health and safety document that the police brought in to close down rap and reggae gigs in the United Kingdom, Form 696. So I'll just do that one in my own incendiary way. I'm rich, but in ways that rich people don't understand. When we fight back, we have to link hands. My boss keeps telling me to work harder. I'm running on empty, no food in a larder. Like Speedy Gonzales, ain't no enchiladas. Work is a prison without release. Form 696, intimidation. We get no peace. And 666 is the number of the beast. You turn it upside down, you get the police. So we're supposed to mourn Blakelock, but forget Blair Peach. Justice, a concept that's just out of reach. Look at all the black deaths in cells and cops come in behind a mattress. Will you get hell? The original Black Death was spread by rats. Well, now they're in a uniform and that's a fat jack. Estates across England, Scotland and Wales now party with Molotov cocktails. If you attack our music, you breed unity, treat us all like a suspect community. The system we live under has failed inspection. Time is ripe for insurrection. The system we live under has failed inspection. Time is ripe for insurrection. Thank you.
Brilliant. Time is right for insurrection. I think we can all take a message from that. Brilliant, Des. Thank you. Thank you ever so much. And we next... Somebody's not muted. Oh, we next go to Richard Harris, who is in North Yorkshire, I believe. Is that right?
East Yorkshire, I'm in Withensea, although my family hail from Coomville in Vach, which is a little village near Newport and Cardiff. Those are my roots, and I have lots of family that in Hengoed and places like that. There you go. So I'm an honorary Yorkshireman. And this accent is because I was brought up in North Yorkshire in a town called Harrogate, and everyone talks terribly well there. Anyway, one's a fairly recent poem and one's a fairly old one. They're both quite short. And this is the difference that 3 months make. December 2019. And these are based on 2 Facebook entries by the same person. What of them immigrants, them refugees from Yemen, panicking about? A few bombs? Christ, we had worse than that in the war in Hull, and we stayed and sorted ourselves out. Yeah, but it stopped. The bombing ended. The war ended. They shouldn't come here. It's just to get benefits and free healthcare. No, it's to save their lives and their families. They've left homes, jobs, lives to be safe. Don't be daft. They're just freeloaders. Same man in March 2020. Fucking police, who do they think they are, coming to Aldi telling me what to do? But you were fighting. We'll have to get supplies for my family needs meat. My family needs me to stand for them. Your family needs you tasered and locked up fighting over a trolley to get meat and toilet rolls. You do know that this is a virus, not some guy with a machine gun or bombs. Yeah, well, you know, it's right to stand up for your own. Yeah, right. And that was the same guy. I couldn't believe it. And then something I found out not long ago. I must be naive, but this is slavery shock. The uber rich have always remained rich, and they profit from misery, and life is not fair, never will be. I thought I knew about slavery, how vile, how evil, and one of the heroes that caused the abolition of this vile practice was Hull's William Wilberforce. Now I assumed the slave owners, those vile beings who do not deserve to be thought of as human, were castigated and punished, but recently I discovered they were compensated. Fucking compensated for the loss of their slaves. No money paid to the slaves, and we, you and me, paid off a government loan with our taxes until 2015. As a poet, it's hard to be speechless with shock and disgust what I fucking am now. We paid these vile bastards millions in compensation. I'm ashamed to be called human. And can I just wave my book at you too, please? It's Stairwell Books.
What is it called?
It's called Awakening, and it's by Stairwell Books of York, and it's already gone into profit, which has blown me away. And this Friday, Rhoda put up the link. This Friday, there's my online book launch. So I'm all excited about that. It's my first book, and I'm nearly 69, and I can't believe I actually got a real book out because I'm 69, and I never expected it.
You're a youngster, mate. You're a youngster.
Yeah, I'm groovy and thang, but I still, it's just blown me away that I've got real actual publishing. It's on Amazon and it's available in America and Australia, and I'm just amazed. Anyway, thank you. That's me rambling.
Okay, so we've got coming up in this order: Rosie Wood-Bevan, Red, and Gary.
I'm not sure if Red's here. Sorry.
Right, we're not sure if Red's here. Okay, so in which case it will be Rosie followed by Gary. So, Rosie, take it away.
Hey, thank you, Tim. This is a poem called Incident in the Canteen, and it's based on a true story or a true event, in fact, that my dad told me about towards the end of his life. He started to decide it was worth saying all sorts of things that had happened in his life that he'd never mentioned before. And this is actually an incident that I'm pretty proud of him for, actually, as will become apparent. So ideally it should be read in Birmingham and Jamaican accents, but I'm not even going to attempt to do that. So it's a historical incident anyway. So, Fort Dunlop, Birmingham, 1949. Pretentiously named as if for soldiers in a kingdom of tires and nylon thread. The canteen, a clatter of cutlery on plates and chatter, a buzz and blur of men released from the morning and steam rising from ladled gravy. He sits alone, jacket on, collar up, head down, against the chill of British summer heat and judgment. The noise stills and shrinks to a string of whispers. What's he doing here? He came on that banana boat. Who's he think he is? Nignog, sitting over there like that. Thinks he's too good for us. He hears the intent, if not the words. Hunches, pours himself into slicing his meat, hopes to be invisible. My father, always inconspicuous, diminutive, aspiring to be ordinary, feels a battering of blood in his ears, finds himself rising out of the crowd, striding across the floor, placing his tray at his black colleague's table, pulling out a chair, an uncomfortable scraping of wood on tile that echoes interminably around the dinner hall. Hello, I'm John, he ventures. Pleased to meet you. Harry, the newcomer smiles back. In awkward, intimate relief, the outside man comes in, the inside man out. A small drama is completed, for now. The audience shuffles and settles to cold potatoes. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you, Rosie. Understated and really effective. Thank you. Thank you so much. Followed by Gary Huskinson. Leads off a poetry night called Say It Louder. So, take it away, Gary.
For thine is the kingdom, the power and glory. Give them what they need, forever and ever. Amen. I lie here not on one knee but two, because yes, it's time to pull together, do what's right and not do what's wrong, do what's right, what not is right. I forgive them all, because that's what we do. It doesn't make it right. Not at all. 400 years. Yeah. You ain't got that many fingers and toes, have you? Not even black men got 400 years. Black women and the women and the indigenous have been the world's single-use plastic thrown to waste, a wasteful commodity. We need a climate change. Yes, which we need some fracking and make Cassin the dick to have no ozone glade. The black monopoly, where that goes straight to jail with no retribution goes on with strange food. The following is inspired by two black women, Billie Holiday and Special K. The twig, that's Billie Holiday, always swung with strange food, with bulging eyes squeezed out of their pits, back and forth, back and forth. 400 years of back and forth, back and forth. Every creek, back and forth. Covert ways. Where did you come from? Back and forth. What colour is your baby going to be? Back and forth. Do you like chicken? Do we like Bob Marley? No, woman, not crying. But we did cry. Because every little thing won't be alright. They feared a twig. They fear herd immunity. They still feel all the twigs. Fear. Their hate breeds fear. Hate breeds fear. A metaphoric change. I hate. Covert, indirect, direct, systematic. It's all hate. Hate. I hate. 400 years of back and forth. Look at Special K. Look at Billie Holiday. She's black. Not coloured, not plain, not pink with yellow, white spots. She's noir. A woman. A black woman. Her enemies are black and white, her black and white suits in the audience, adored, sexualized by her creditors, bankers, and white powder dealers. Immortalized in 2021, not in the Hall of Fame, but in the propaganda corridors of Whitehall, left and right, suckling blood drips in stains. Only illicit drugs kills the pain. Having children is her only decision. She empowered her race not to do what's right, but to do what is right, not what is right. Emancipation for a broken twig is never free. Strange fruit swings from the poplar trees. Her skeleton swings wary of monsters. On top of her flower bed, reaping a seed, she's always on the first watch for pimps and bankers. But it's before 9 o'clock, so I can't say pimp, bankers and wankers. She's on guard duty for all the time. Look who goes there. Looking for monsters, friend or foe. It's always foe. Predators, the imposters, tainted and haunted by great suit men with the FBI and LPD. Badges the skeleton of a black woman rises with sunflower, breaking new ground, shining tall and bright, always standing tall. Let me get off my knees, because I'm proud. Time is not male. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Lords and MPs, and then the top Senate with your votes. Time is not male. The black woman sleeps with monsters. Face to face, no divine comedy, no dictation of heaven or hell. Predicted mediocrities, black educated skeleton women are defined as, yeah, you get it. It's the language we use at News at 10. They're defined as evil, seeking redemption. Your crime is if you were born a black woman. The clock has struck 1. W-O-N. The swing creaks, the fruit drops, the twig breaks. Back and evil, back and forth, back and forth. God, they do not know what they do. Amen. That's me too. Hello.
Brilliant. Gary, is that it?
I'm here. Guys, can I just say is, say more than the
Are
kids.
you still going?
No, I'm just going to say at the end. I'm done. I'm just going to say about Say It Louder. Works alongside Poetry Live, where it's not just an event; it's a serious movement. And those people who don't really think that poets can change, within a year, in my locality, we've got schools teaching Black history. I've been today at a police charge with racism. Poets make a difference. Their message gets across. Don't just think this is a tick box. You know, you've got fantastic people, Tim, Rhoda, and Dee, and Fahad. This is not just a tick box, guys. This is not just something you watch on the news. Our words matter. It's proven. I'm going full-timing soon because this Say It Louder, Be Kinder is a mission. It is not just me playing at doing poetry, because at the end of the day, my poetry is shit, but my message is good. Thank you, Tim.
Brilliant. Thank you, Gary. So, Say It Louder, that can be found online, on Facebook, etc. Okay.
I just want to say, poets make a difference. That's my mantra. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So, fantastic. That was a unique performance, Gary. Okay, we've got the next will be Margaret O'Regan. Then I'm going to just plug a few things, and then it'll be Clive Oseman. I'm not sure if we've got anything from Simon Shepherd yet.
Yes, we have, yes.
We have, excellent. So it'll be Margaret, Clive, then Simon, Michael Wilson, and Manjit. And then we'll have another short break. Okay, so we'll start off with Margaret O'Regan from Ireland, from Cork, I believe, is it?
That's it, Tim. Thank you, from Cork.
Excellent. There you go, Margaret. Take it away.
Thank you. I have two short ones, and I reference here in the first one Magdalen laundries, which were places where what was referred to as unmarried women were incarcerated when they were pregnant, up to very recently, up to the 90s. So this is called Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter, indirect provision, packed together, calling out, moving, feeling, keeping quiet, lying low, in school, no home, vacant looks, vacant future, every empty-headed empty phrase, sounds resounding, Magdalen laundries echo, all the mothers and babies, their throats throttled, telling us, our story too, every detail like the last, running away, same to same. And the next one is called Céad Míle Fáilte, and Céad Míle Fáilte is a term used in Ireland to mean, in Irish, 100,000 welcomes. In this land of Céad Míle Fáilte, holding pens have been called for, cattle herded to slaughter, sword of Damocles order, cameras charged and recorded, ready to pounce and pronounce. Go back where you came from. Céad Míle Fáilte refrain. Remains rounded up, condemned and deported from this land of Céad Míle Fáilte to another fled from slaughter. Bounced like a football, boomeranged and shanghaied, dropped from the air, a parcel of despair, by the rulers of Céad Míle Fáilte, who forget that we will not forget bully bureaucrat bile. We will continue to fight, call an end to deportation flights from this land of Céad Míle Fáilte. And just to say that our local soccer team is called Cork City FC, and it's oh yeah, that's not coming out fully there now at all, but Cork City's FC supporters against fascism is the badge. Thank you.
Tim, you're muted.
I am, aren't I? I am now unmuted, I think. Okay, so great stuff, Margaret. And we move along now to me, actually. Yeah, I was going to I know that people sort of come and go often in these events, so I just wanted to remind people of a few dates that what we're doing tonight is as part of the run-up towards the 20th. March the 20th is United Nations Anti-Racism Day, and we are calling on people at 1 p.m. UK time, calling on people to take the knee in solidarity with Black Lives Matter. And so wherever you are at 1 p.m. On Saturday, if you could take a photo of that, post it on social media. There'll be other events organized by Stand Up to Racism. You can just go on their website or go on their Facebook page. And if you're in Wales, we're asking people to, as Rodri said, we're asking people to take the knee at 5:30 in solidarity with the Swansea and Cardiff City players who, while sort of sworn enemies on the pitch, have made a public stance of being united against racism. And at 5:30, both teams will be taking the knee against racism. So if you're in Wales, then we're asking you to do that at 5:30 on the 20th. Also, I wanted to mention tomorrow is Manjit Sahota's organising Poets Against Racism, a national organisation, and their poetry night is tomorrow on the 17th of March. That's also in the build-up to the 20th. And finally, just to remind people of the campaigns in Wales, in Newport and Cardiff, Moyed Bashir, Mahmoud Hassan, both of them died after being in police custody. There are also harassment of the people who then went on the protests with fines, etc. So if you can look those up online, then as I say, if you go for just type in deaths after police contact, Newport, Cardiff, you should get the stuff up. Okay, I think that's everything I wanted to cover. As I say, can I encourage people to use the chat function here in order to promote stuff that's going on, in particular stuff that has got an anti-racist theme or message to it. Okay, so the next 4 people will be kicking off with Clive Oseman, followed by Simon Shepherd, Michael Wilson, and Manjit Sahota. Then we'll have another quick break. So I'll call on Clive Oseman from Swindon. I have seen him in his other persona as Queen Elizabeth, but we won't mention that here, Clive. Okay, brilliant. Off you go, mate.
Right, okay. The poem I'm going to do is actually a couple of years old, and it wasn't written about my father, but it's very much based on him. For a bit of context, I was dragged up in a pretty horrifically bigoted environment, to be honest. My mother died very young, and I remember her as a racist, but adult perspective says she was probably really scared of my father, so I'll give her the benefits of the doubt. But my father was a horrible, manipulative shitrag. You know, sorry, but that's the truth. And as I was ill and virtually housebound for much of my youth, I had to unlearn a lot as I got older because of the way I've been brought up. And actually, it was music that led the way for me, particularly two-tone, being a Brummie and, you know, from that part of the world as well. Two-tone music had a huge influence on me. And I rarely feel emotion when celebrities die. But when Rankin Roger died, that really hit me. It really did. So most of the family, unfortunately, did go down the bigoted path. And in my mind, the only family I have is one sister out of the 3 that were born, and my daughter, and that's it. But anyway, onto the poem, and it's called Prisoner. I could almost feel sorry for him, if only he realised how grim and unforgiving his world can be and tried to change things from within. But he doesn't, and he never will. His mind's forever standing still, imprisoned by his isms. He was imprisoned by the isms he was brainwashed with, destined to let his vision of the world be tainted by the prejudice that played a large part in his upbringing. He maintains the family loathing of difference. Their insistence and persistence in calling him to duty resulted in a stunted personality, shunning individuality, reinforcing the banality of the only life they knew. How he makes them proud, spewing hatred in the loudest fashion, displaying no compassion, no understanding of the multiculture enriching those around him, unyielding to the rights of women, wearing blinkers handed down through generations, refusing to move them even when the chance comes calling. This is the age of the internet, with a world of information at your fingertips, and yet he chooses ignorance. Refugees are scroungers, Europeans have no right to grace these shores, but he can travel where he likes, and his wife can bake the cakes and do the chores. We can blame his parents for setting him on this course, but the world is smalling out than it was for them, and they were never taught any other strain of thought. He chooses to be ignorant out of hatred and resistance. I could pity him for sure, but forgive me for my reticence. He's imprisoned by his isms, but the key is there within his grasp. His sentence needn't last forever, but it will. He will always look back at the past, to the glory days of empire, the privileges that are his of right because he's male and he's white, and feel they were stolen. He will never see that equality is golden, that borders are man-made concept, that flags and anthems forge contempt, that its time white male dominance was spent. I regret his refusal to tackle the issues he faces, but will never feel pity for misogynists or racists. Thank you.
That's brilliant. Thank you, Clive. Really powerful stuff as usual. So moving along, sorry, I'm trouble keeping track. Okay, next up should be Simon, who is a rap poet in Barry, who I know well. Followed by Michael Wilson, in Belfast, and Manjit Sahota, who heads up Poetry Against Racism in Nottingham. So we'll kick off with Simon Shepherd from all the way from Barry.
Hiya guys, can you hear me?
Hi man, good to see you.
Good to see you too. Right, so basically I've written a song specially for this event. It'll be on my EP when it releases on the 30th of May, if anybody does want to listen to it. It's called Why Is It Normal? Rhoda actually approached me to write this. I think it scratches a lot of deep subjects in the whole subject of racism. So I'll give you a taste of it now. Yo, a world filled with so much hatred, anger and violence. A world filled with so much misunderstanding. A world filled with racial and wealth division. A world filled with racism, hatred and lies. Listen, it might be rich for a young white rapper to talk on such a sensitive subject. But tell me, how is it normal for a young black man to walk the streets and the police already look at him like a suspect? Listen, I really mean no disrespect, but how is it normal for us to hate against refugees when we're the ones dropping bombs on Syria? How is it normal for us to need no back on people who need help when their country's in mass hysteria? Truth is, we got no business in other countries. It's all lives, profit making and enslavement. World's filled with too many people who take blood as a payment, their hearts as cold as a pavement. People telling people who have lost their livelihoods to be patient and wait at our borders in camps surrounded by people expressing hatred, and TV reporters tell me, why is it normal? A world in which we build a statue for a slave trader. In which world is it normal that we celebrate slave labor? I thought we should all love our neighbor. Susan, we all bleed the same color, so what the fuck is the difference? Each of us human. And this world's filled with so much heartache and confusion. Shall fuck the KKK, BNP and the UKIP movement. Still think no one truly understands what the business in Iraq is. People who just wanted to live their lives slaughtered down by the masses. I know they're trying to eradicate racism in schools, but the shit they teach you in classes only truly scratches the surface. People like Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks and Malcolm X stand amongst others who fought for black rights and a peaceful purpose. So tell me, why the fuck is it so normal that people may hate me for shouting Black Lives Matter? People may not understand why these words are coming from a young white rapper. But listen, racism, injustice and hatred are not just a problem for refugees and the black community. It's our problem that we never grasped an opportunity to build our differences aside until now to live together in unity. I don't care if people hate me after seeing these words. I speak these words truthfully. How is it normal that we're fighting wars, blowing up innocent people's homes that you're telling them to go back to, flipping your lid because somebody tore down a fucking slave trader statue? You're all just as bad as the idiots with the swastika tattoos. You're going around pointing fingers, ask yourself who the real terrorist is. White privilege, that's a word that should never exist. People have died for this cause, that's why I'm so pissed. Listen, it should be common human nature not to give a fuck about your skin colour, to not give a fuck about where you're born or the origins of your father or your mother. Listen, we're all the same species, sister and brothers. We should all be helping out and looking after each other, or living in peace no matter our colour. And if you hear what I'm saying on this track and you agree, go out and teach others. For real, that's the only way this shit's ever gonna stop. All the same, I don't care if people dislike it. It's a fact. Black Lives Matter.
Yes.
Good
Tebri, you go out and lead them white youth. You do that shit. That's brilliant.
Thank you.
That's great. Thanks a lot, Si. I was really pleased you could make it today. Brilliant.
See each other in the flesh very, very soon when all this is over.
Yeah, hopefully so. Yeah. Great message of solidarity. Cheers, mate. Thank you. Yeah. Cheers. Take care.
Please hang around for my work. I'm going to do some grandmother rap. All right? Cool.
I will do.
Is that a thing? Grandmother rap. Great.
You'll hear it. There's 3. Very fast.
Okay, next we got Michael Wilson from Belfast and Manjit Sahota from Nottingham. So, and then we'll have a quick break. So, can I call on Michael, please?
Michael runs Lit Up in Belfast, I believe.
Is he with us?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. Hello, Michael. Michael in Belfast. Is he muted or something? Because I can't hear him. He's not saying anything. Where is he?
I've seen Michael at a few. No, this is me. This is Clive. I've seen Michael at a few events, and he often has this problem. He quite often has to sign out and come back in again.
So he did say that might happen. So we just give him a moment, then he'll be back.
Well,
he's back. He's back. Don't worry.
Is he back? Ah.
Yeah, he's back.
Michael, you're back.
I think he is anyway.
Let me know.
Hello, Michael, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me okay?
Brilliant.
Okay.
We were told to expect the possible phasing in and out, but that's brilliant. Okay.
Okay.
Right. Okay, good. Off you go.
Grand. Okay, I'll put in the chat about the event lit up and World Poetry Day. This poem is called Little Rock 9 and was written specifically for tonight. Per Elizabeth Eckford, the baying mob reflected in her dark glasses in the dress her mother made her, kept from her new school by hatred, spit and mob rule, as much as by the bayonets that barred her way, a row of soldiers to keep peace. The history on her back, in front of the entire world in black and white. The Little Rock 9 encountered so much, true trailblazers at the age of 17. Central High School, Arkansas, 1957. A test case for so many generations to come. 9 black kids in an all-white school. A year of toil and trouble, daily water torture of abuses. The Little Rock 9, in the face of such hate, their parents put them forward. The NAACP fitted them for purpose, the best of their year, innocence. The governor postured to keep his electorate. The president tried to stay out of the issue. It became coloured by state rule. The whole 9 of them made it through, though, the entire academic year. All 9 graduated. Much later, they were awarded the Congressional Medal, the Little Rock 9, space. Montgomery, Alabama, 1955, a 25-year-old Martin Luther King, as yet untouched by the elders, profess a love above all, that hatred will be met with calm and resolve, knowing allies are made through peace, not conflict. The Holt Street Church rammed full, boycotting the buses for a year and a half, but it wasn't through vitriol or blood boiling, but rather the day-by-day grind of walking everywhere. An 80-year-old woman walked every day rather than the bus. When they insisted she should be exempt, she refused, saying, "My feet are sore, but my soul is rested." It was the media that spun it. The media that brought the government to bear the images showing in so many ex-colonial countries during the Cold War that shamed America into acting. Capitalism couldn't stand a vacuum. Manpower is perhaps America's greatest motivator. It took years, but the world began to move. The 1950s did the spade work of this incremental journey with its odd shunts, backslidings and sudden stops. American black civil rights is in part judged not on how far it's come, but on how much further it has yet to go. I think King would agree. Prisons a new Jim Crow, cops a battleground, social injustice and discrimination. We had Rodney King as well as Martin Luther. The soap opera news and its fair share of villains, heroes and martyrs. We get better together, not apart. We are the slow, invisible hand of progress. Love will extinguish all flames except the caring heart that burns so brightly. Love one another. That's all we can ask of each other. That's all we have to do. Thank you very much. Cheers, guys.
That's brilliant. Thank you, Michael. That was really direct and powerful stuff. Michael runs the Lit Up Poetry Group in Belfast. So you can find. Will you put a link up later? That's brilliant. Thank you. Okay. Right. That's fantastic stuff. And we're moving along now to Manjit Sahota, from Poetry Against Racism, based in Nottingham. Okay, over to you, Manjit.
Yeah, can you hear me? Yeah,
yes.
Thumbs up. Yeah, hello, everybody awake, brilliant. Right, I'm going to be very quick, basically, and talk about sort of the event tomorrow, 17th of March, so Wednesday tomorrow, Poets Against Racism. Just go on Poets Against Racism Facebook page. We've got 20 poets. We've got the Crown Jewels of Swansea, that's Rhoda and Tim, at our event. And we've recruited someone tonight. One, we've nicked him as well. So I'm like the Alex Ferguson of the poetry world. I will sign you up eventually. So one thing I want to do tonight is to mention that tomorrow we're starting with a video which was produced by East Midlands Poets in 4 weeks in lockdown, called Poets for Refugees. It's about a walk with Amal, a puppet that's walking from the Syrian-Turkish border in July to Manchester Arts Festival in November. And she's walking through Europe. So we've dedicated a poem which we filmed with 17 poets. That's Poets for Refugees. That will be out on YouTube at 6 p.m. tomorrow, an hour before the event. So Poets Against Racism and Poets for Refugees are the videos to look out for tomorrow. I want to do a poem dedicated to Blair Peach, but actually pointed at the Metropolitan Police, who are murderers dressed up as peacekeepers. And I want to make sure people remember it's 42 years next month since Blair Peach was killed by the Metropolitan Police. So it's poems for Blair Peach. On our father's shoulders, we carried New Zealand's sun. Through the streets of Southall, black and white as one. So there's a history in our schools they dare not teach. Did they ever find the racist murderers that killed our Blair Peach? He stood up against the racist National Front Nazis, defended our communities, our neighbourhoods, our families. If you don't know the story, Google it for free. He was cut down by the Metropolitan Police, the racist SPG. There was a teacher, a socialist, he fought the far right. Our families called him a brother. I was surprised to find out he was white. Born in New Zealand, he taught in our London schools. He marched in the streets and took on the racist fools. He paid with his life to make our burden lighter. I knew then in 1979, I wanted to be an anti-racist fighter. 10,000 at Blair's funeral. Our love for him filled the streets. Men, women, children, black, white, Muslim, Sikhs. The SPG are just armed racist thugs, dressed as peacekeepers. They try to make us into mugs. We spent most of the 80s tasting pavement floors, pinned down by the thin blue line under their sus laws. Coppers to the left of us, Nazis to the right, jokers in the government. We had no choice but to fight. But I don't want to reflect back in sadness. We need to rage against the machine and end this racist madness. So it's over 40 years on April 23rd, and keep Blair's legacy alive from everything you've heard. And the fight against the bigots goes on, and all the hate they preach. And we will keep him in our hearts and in our minds until we get the answer to our question. Who killed Blair Peach? Thank you, comrades. See you tomorrow.
That's it. Who killed Blair Peach? I remember I was 14. Who killed Blair Peach? Fuck that.
Metropolitan Police.
Yeah, I can remember it really clearly. We went down the weekend after and we had a vigil outside. I was living in St Albans at the time. We had a vigil outside, quite an angry vigil outside St Albans police station. And that was echoed across towns and cities where we pointed the finger where the blame actually lay.
And just want to Just want
Things
to say,
haven't
Tim, it's so
changed.
important to remember, black and white, we're dynamite together.
Yes.
That's how to smash racism.
Yeah.
And I'm proud as an Asian to have a proud history of Asian people, not as victims, but as fighters. And
Yeah,
the Southall Youth Movement are part of that. And black and white together is the way to defeat racism. That's
Yes,
what we need to do,
that's right.
sisters and brothers together.
Absolutely.
Comrade, solidarity.
Absolutely.
Solidarity, Manjit.
Okay.
I'll also
Let's
say to Manjit-
happy the message that comes away from tonight.
Yeah.
That it is solidarity. You know, black and white. The old slogan when I was younger used to be "Black and white unite and fight," and I think it's true today as well. Okay, so quick break, then followed by Skylar and Tish and Leslie. Okay,
Tim?
Skylar, Tish, and Leslie.
Tim, can I just say to follow what Manjit said?
Yeah.
Okay. The 23rd of April is quite unlike day. It's meant to be St George's Day, so it's great. But more importantly, on the 22nd of April, and his body was found on the 23rd of April. It's Stephen Lawrence Day. We're putting something on, but it is always funny how these dates revolve around St George's Day.
Right. I'm sure that's entirely coincidental. Okay, so that's is that the 22nd of April?
22nd is Stephen Lawrence Day. 23rd is George's Day. I've been stabbed 3 times in my life. I'm sitting in the shorts looking at the bruises in there. Not in downtown wherever, but in lowly old Peterborough and Boston. Twice
Right.
on St George's Day.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, St George's Day is traditionally the day that some of the right wing turn out, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's really important, and it's really important that you brought that up, Gary. That St George's Day, the connection, the proximity to, you know, the death of the murder of Stephen Lawrence, and the fact that people have not been, you know, that justice hasn't been found, and that's a murder from many years back in the UK. And please Google that too. Thank you for remembering that, Gary, and bringing that up for everyone's awareness. Bless you.
Cheers, comrades. Okay, quick break. 5 minutes. Stretch your legs. Have a smoke. Have a drink. Wander around the house.
Just 5 minutes, quick.
5 minutes, yeah, honest, really, this time. 5 minutes.
Those kids have gone out and got chicken from Morrison's. I'm all right now.
Gone very quiet.
Hello.
No, hello. I'm slightly paranoid. I think the cats might have tried to eat some chocolate. It's poisonous for cats. Oh well. Right. Okay. Right, excuse me. So, here we go. Right, my God, I can see now. Okay, so the next tranche of people is going to be Skylar Winter, heading from Western Australia in Perth, and then there'll be Tishkam, who's in Gloucestershire, then we've got. I think. Then we have Scott Coe, followed by Noah Levine. Okay, so we'll kick off with Skylar J Winter from Perth in Western Australia. Skylar.
Hey everyone, how you going? So good to be here tonight. So I'm going to read a poem I have read before, but it's really the first piece I ever wrote about discrimination, and it came from a very intense conversation with a really dear friend, and she told me she has a very multicultural family and they are just the most delightful bunch of people, and when you get with them in a group you can see that if the whole world could embrace each other the way that family does, it would be a very happy place. Anyway, so this is for every family whose situation normal is a daily dose of discrimination, choked back with a chaser of fear and trepidation, and who, despite living in countries that claim their citizens are free, because of fear, they never will be. No matter who you are descendant of, look back through history far enough and the abuse we have inflicted upon each other goes on and on and on and on, and I just wonder, when the fuck will we be done? It matters not our colour or creed, mother, father or history. We're exactly the same underneath. Beating hearts and despicable minds capable of things when pushed too far or influenced by those with power-driven agendas to do things to each other that sullies and renders our DNA, corrupted by fear, trauma and misrepresentation, to be the keystone of replication in all future generations. When I look beneath another's skin, beyond what I think is happening, beyond the idea that anything gives the right to any human being to inflict an act discriminating upon another, I realise subversive discrimination seeps ever deeper without cessation into unconscious minds, creating a norm that those unfettered by its constraints consider with derision and scorn as a thing that does not exist at all. It does. Consider the reality of just one man's reality that was posted on the World Wide Web one week in 2020, a situation of which I can barely speak without feeling sick to my stomach. I certainly could not watch it, just heard the talk of it and knew the truth of it. If that man had resisted, spoken out, not stayed passive as his heart rate accelerated with the fear of knowing he was already dead, as he non-aggressively begged for that officer to remove his knee from his neck, hoping for just a flicker of compassion, he would have just been dead quicker. And for those who wish to believe this kind of behaviour is not bred from society's failure to expose the layer upon layer of both passive and aggressive discriminatory behaviour, I have another true story. Sisters, Ebony and Ivory, look as different outwardly as interconnecting piano keys despite sharing biologically the same parents. Together they do their weekly shop. It's an outing shared, but the experience is not. Ivory is served with a smile and conversation. Her payment by cheque requires no validation. Ebony follows her sister's lead, but the cashier treats her differently. demanding she present her photo ID and endure humiliating scrutiny before her cheque is cashed. Now, Ebony, having been taught by parents who inherently know the world is a place where no matter who your kith or kin or what swanky suburb you live in, speaking out can get you in a whole heap of trouble if the colour of your skin is black, stands shamed, silent, choking injustice down, while Ivory thinks nothing of going to town on the cashier demanding, why is it okay to treat my sister differently when we've paid the same way? The cashier had no answer. I doubt she even knew, but an epiphany was had by some standing in that queue, and when I was told that story, I realised my daily diet of social dysfunction has me making unconscious assumptions, has me acting without compunction, has me giving in to the seduction of a thing that is the obstruction to the eruption of my true nature. Love. I realise I have been blind to how entrenched discrimination has become. Discrimination is a colour thing, a racial, religious and gender thing, a privilege versus poverty thing, a power versus powerless thing, an erosive, corrosive, debilitating thing, and instead of just surrendering to what may seem the normal way of things, I realise we must all start questioning why we are continuing to sanction acts dehumanising when being all the same beneath our skin. There is no need for them at all. Thank you.
Woo! Skylar.
Brilliant. Great stuff, Skylar. Cracking poems. Okay. Okay, so we go to Tish. Tish Camp.
Hi there.
Thank you again, Skylar.
Thank you, Skylar. That's brilliant.
Go for it.
Yeah, so I'm Tish Camp, poet, writer. I'm Trinidadian Irish. I'm from London and live in Gloucestershire countryside with my grandson, 16, and his young girlfriend, 15. They're watching me. These are 3 poems I've written for tonight. One's called Stand Up, and it's a trilogy. It's a story. It's the first one, Stand Up. I stand up to you and measure myself as if a child in height. Big brother kin looking down on my skin, but we're the same, born in the same street, stereotype, sounding like race in a race. Now we compete. Shot is fired, hurdled over obstacles to be placed in Hackney's murder mile. Wow, you're already at the white finish line, claiming white men's prize. At school, I was the boy you ostracized, unless I made you laugh or sold you weed or dumbed down to make you feel all right in your eye. Speak like me, repeat. Teachers marked you up, me in black ink, as if cracks on milk glass outside scattered around your purity, perfection, supreme inflection. I grow down, not up, into quieter man. You're fat and loud, fed your lies about me, gorging on the cut me to the bone, beef to your thinly sliced ham. Racism, oh man, on the street we meet. I see you married well, kids in uni as your bank account swells. Me? Yeah, I'm doing okay. Mustn't grumble, I'm in your shadow so I'm playing humble. But yeah, we had a race where I can't win or speak, where you prosper the lives of whites, where black men are meek and serving and smiling and dancing or dead. Irate at Babylon licks. Rastafari and I are noting this, quoting this, showing this. I am teaching this and relieving this myself of this piss, this shit, and place it in your mouth. Thank you. Next one is from my grandson. It's called Stand Still. There's a time to stand still and a time to run. Watch me, grandchild's son. Listen to these words because I know when to run. I feel every black heartbeat, slave feet running in a standstill, becoming still, being still, stand still. Brushing my hair, afro, sister, mother's care. Easy days comparison, easy? Stand still. Black youth will answer at once through his young mouth. Chill, nanny, nothing gonna happen. Streets they know, stood in Nikes, mobiles in hand. Man's them, I feel Babylon and Ku Klux Klan. Triple threat of triple K patterns in shadow lynch. History car reverse, pulling up a ride to put air in tires. Pressure youth and spread and position. Masked up, freedom bound, hog tied, chill side, stand still. You watch me, I'm cooking here, dishing up fried chicken and advice. His young mouth gotta make no sound. No grandma if you lying on the ground. Don't answer back, see that makes it worse. You want this with Frank hot sauce? Pass me that standstill cloth. Am I imagine him bandaged, shroud on my knees, wailing over him, and every birthday balloon, ice cream scooped, dished up rice, roti, ackee, coconut curry, barbecue rib, Trini boy get bake, chicken the chicken, fried stew, spiced bake, none left on his plate, none left on his plate. Looking at his cold feet that ran, stand still, stand still, stand still. This next one is called Stand Down. Stand down in your efforts to silence me. I am 1,000 black voices. Stand down in your wanting me dead. I am a warrior. I am firm in my thighs. I am metamorphic. I am black rivers, my mouth a guillotine. I stand down in your disgust. I am Black Sheba. Make me Makeda. I am demanding your rebuke. I am defiantly stood. You are and will be shook until all hate in your racism pockets falls to ground. Scarabs will come to feast on this. Stand down, get down. From this table that I break with my hand, my amulet gauntlet is worn, not thrown at feet. This battle is already won. In my voice, in my skin, my kin, I am the bearer of truths. You're exposed and power white and wrong, while I am the black hurricane. Thank you.
That's brilliant.
They're going to come.
Thank you very much, Tish. You got some family coming over. Brilliant.
And the cooking, bless you.
Yeah, absolutely. Cheers, guys. Good to see you. Okay, moving along. Right, I think I didn't see this the first time round. I'm looking for Nick Lovell, followed by Scott Cove, followed by Noah Levin.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so Nick. Yes. Okay, yeah. Nick, over to you.
You all hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
This one's on white privilege. It's something that millions of people deny every single day, but you don't have to look far from home to see it, because it's real, it's there, and we need to do something about it. But anyway, I wear white privilege, but not through choice. You see, my skin's forever stained by that mark of Cain that locked brothers and sisters in chains, denied their voice, destroyed cultures and futures, knit people so far apart no sutures could ever repair the lies my kin sold, the damage and despair wrought. No bank could ever repay the blood sold and bought. I carry white privilege everywhere. It's conferred at birth, the ability to exist without my worth being judged at a glance, given greater opportunities to advance through simple happenstance, an accident of location and pigmentation opening doors to higher floors in education, employment and vocation. I can't hide my white privilege, no matter how I try. It's written in my face, defined by my race and country. It's reinforced by the bigotry, the hate that taints this nation. It's stamped in the state approval of the forcible removal of those from the Windrush generation. I resent my white privilege, even though I'm forced to enjoy its benefits. Less chance being stopped while driving my car. Less risk of someone matching my face to photo fits. Less chance of racist abuse or violent attacks from bigots. So I fight my white privilege. I offer a hand where able to those still chained by other people's minds, those that would be left behind because of their skin, those that have to win just to come last in the race, those whom some would let sink without trace, the people that bigotry really hits. Help them to their feet, help them find their place, not as a gift or charity or a washing of my lily white mitts, but as rope to a fellow survivor, encouragement to a fellow striver, a bridge across a rift, because no one should be judged by the colour of their skin or the place of their birth. After all, we're simply humans living together upon one earth. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Nick. Nice one, mate. Thank you. Okay, moving I'm sorry I have to move so swiftly along, but oh, hang on. Okay. No, I understand that David Lee. Have I got your last name pronounced correctly? Sirius.
David Leo Sirois.
Sirois. Okay.
Yes.
Sorry about that. I did have A-level French, but it was a long time ago. Okay, David Lee Sirois, who was managed to pop over from Paris, I think, where he runs another poetry night. But there we go. Off you go, David.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I run Spoken World Online, which is a continuation of Spoken Word Paris. I do it from Canada. It's fun. An honor. So this is a creation story. It's a song of equality from the very beginning. Song for a seeker of Eden. Over the face of naked waters, a nameless breath was blowing. In wide wind, white seeds of weakness and weightless days of realization whirled in one confused flurry. A subtle hand separated light from dark, dark from salted sky, and turned to lift solid air above from undulating dark seas beneath. On the second day, a sphere of raw fire was carried up into the blank dark to make day. And a round stone mirror rose into the opposing sky in a shower of sparks to make night. Our globe's green skin split into countless shoots of wet grass, and the bark of trees burst into soft green flames. Blizzards of birds brought fresh brilliance to the foliage, and 7 oceans flooded with flashing blue life of countless fish. At the next dawn, dark infant soil learned new red languages, the pulse of horses and bulls. Massive shadows of elephants and rams spilled into wilderness, wildness of rain wind. On the following day, a plot of dull clay was shaped into articulate human fingers. Between blood and blood, skin and skin, man and woman, the two took shape. Held in delicate hands of sentient trees, one unique and rich scarlet fruit pregnant with secrets and seeds that carried the rumor of death. Amidst wrinkled branches, a serpent made of the yellow muscle of want wound its insidious whispers. You will know yourselves and fathom the sky if you bite a blood-colored fruit. Each stretched a fleshy hand toward one apple that was their own crimson consciousness. Man and woman shared that dark-starred fruit until their lips bled with vision, taste of sunset inside the sky. Naked, they ate red within the red as the first leaf wrinkled and blindly fell. Thank you kindly.
Thank you. Thank you, David. Glad you were able to join us. Okay. That's brilliant. Thank you so much. Okay. Next, moving rapidly along, Scott Coe, followed by Noah Levin, followed by Catalina George. Okay, are we able to do that?
Hello.
Brilliant.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes. Yeah, you're coming over loud and clear.
Fantastic. 2 to keep me under the 3 minutes, 2 short ones I wrote last year. I hope you don't mind hearing them again, but I think this is the right place to say them. I heard the growl, the engines roaring. I saw the flames, the rockets rising. I saw the crowds, the people cheering. Then saw the flames of buildings burning. 2 men in a capsule, fed oxygen in space. Another, choked on the ground. American disgrace. I heard the words, I can't breathe. I saw the news but can't believe. I saw the crowds, the people chanting. Then saw the news of rockets rising. 2 men in an orbit, flying through space. The other, dead on the ground. Because of his race? I see your rockets. You put men on the moon. But back on Earth you're out of tune. Out in space it's very quiet. But back on Earth the world's in riot. 2 men calling Houston. We want to believe, but all we hear is, I can't breathe. Okay. Statues rise and fall upon the waves of time and tide. In brass and marble they are crowned, in changing seasons they are drowned. Standing proud in silent vigils, felled to ground in violent rituals. Privilege decays, rusting with the medals they wore. Bronze men are felled and left to rust, stonework crumbled, bereft in dust, stained in bird shit and bigotry. Slavery's bloodshed has paid for these. Reputations change. History is a long road travelled. Every mile marked with empty plimps, their denials echo history since, marking the lies they were built upon, sweeping aside empire's guilt, and on. Thank you very much, everybody. Peace.
Brilliant. Thank you, Scott. Nice, powerful, punchy poems there. Both of them. It's brilliant. Thank you. And now we have, if my list is right, we should have Noah, Levine, followed by Catalina George, and hopefully followed by Alan Thompson and then Richard Spisek. Okay, so kicking off, I hope, with Noah Levine.
Greetings all. I hope everyone's doing all right today. So, this is Poets Stand Up. So, with Zoom, I've been basically sitting down for the last year. So today I'm standing up. So I'm going to read a piece. This is a new piece that I'm going to read. Basically, I was flipping through poems for today, and I ended up writing this right at the start. So here we go. Hatred is generational heirloom, weaving its way inside out of human after human after human after human after human. Power and supremacy is foot on neck, and complacency says the world is mine, pie and apple pie. Hatred beats in footsteps in time. Hand down your animosity and find buddy system in eye of the storm. Breathe easy as fire hose rips at flesh and says your supremacy is laid down on tears and servants' hands that says, yes, sir, you're looking fine today. The world is a quiet, simple breeze when hiding under your covers, and monsters are those across the street, stealing nightmares and living flesh. Ill-conceived, complacent delusions laying fold and hate as neighbors' feet. Testify your totem of hatred, spittle, screaming black, heart mark, stains splatter everywhere. Over and over and over and over and over. Scream your hate. Be your hate. Scapegoat an entire people. What now to satisfy your safety and your status? Genocide. My family saw those goose steppers throw us in the showers in their ovens. Black people in slavery. Muslims beaten down in hate. Chinese blamed for a virus and Mexicans steal your pay. Enough! Break generational hatred. Educate and look me in the eye. Stop blame. You could be my friend. So, I have a lot of heroes in this world, people that inspire me and I think inspire us. And there's some easy ones out there. Dr. Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, John Lewis. Really, the list is it's unending. But at the same time, others inspire me too. There's nothing easier than complacency. There's nothing easier than when you don't take a stand, you'll be rewarded for it. The bus ride to freedom in the early 1960s, there were white people on that bus also who got beaten down. And in World War II, there were Germans who could have been safe and easy and instead took Jewish people and gypsies and so on into their basement and risked their lives because they just couldn't see horrors happening. And that is inspiring. Sometimes you have to fight for love. Thank you all.
Noah, thank you so much. That's some good things that needed saying there. That's great. And also delivered in a standing position, which is certainly worth. I shall be doing that at some point quite quickly. Okay, so we got Noah, followed by Catalina, followed by Alan, Richard, Rhoda, and then I'll be winding us up. So we'll start then with Catalina. Hello. From the States, yes?
No, I am a Romanian living in Birmingham.
Oh yes, you are. Yes. Sorry,
it's okay.
I'm losing my mind. Yeah.
It's okay. There were quite a number of us performing here tonight. This is my rage poem that I wrote a few weeks ago. It does have the F word, but it's more like the Edward Norton monologue, if you know it, from the 25th Hour. As a Romanian in the UK, I have been discriminated against and sadly, mostly at my workplaces, where one employer did not declare my employment and did not pay my taxes until I got ACAS involved. Another employer, my line manager, singled me out as a non-native speaker, and she never admitted that later on in official documents. So yeah, I've been there, but this is also about the fact that a lot of employers would not give me a job after an interview, telling me, praise words, but they had to choose somebody from a more suitable, something like that, more suitable background. My background matched the job, but it wasn't. That experience was not in the UK, and it seems it doesn't matter if you have the same experience but from Romania. So this is it. Oh, I apologize, it's a bit of a longer poem. Hope I'm not going too much off the limit now. Life after death. To all those who said You are talented, skilled, resilient. You have such varied work experience. You will find a suitable position very soon. To all of you who slammed the door in my face after giving me a half-eaten candy, to you all, I have just a few things to say. Let's start with fuck you and your condescending smiles from the height of your sorry, let's start again. Let's start with fuck you and your condescending smiles from the height of your inviolable management positions. Fuck your incapacity to see beyond keywords in your plastic hiring algorithms. Fuck the sparkle in your eyes as you fervently take note of my suggestions you never give a chance to shape out of my own hands. Fuck your prim ties, your relaxed shirt but no jacket look, your questions laid out on the table like mummy organs, nothing but a fake feeling of safety. Fuck all your hand-shaking hypocrisy. I'm your wild card that will rise from the scrunched candy wrapper to steal your shadows too heavy with comfort. Fuck your office jokes, your shredded paper-coated gossip, your petty fights behind screen shields with other line managers, your shit-wrapped humanity shoved down my throat with disgust. Fuck your pretense of kindness when all you do is make yourselves feel just a bit better about your claptrap non-native speaker. Fuck your overnight grown lies to cushion your asses fattened with incompetence and neglect. You chose the wrong trainee for an ass kisser. These lips burn like laser beams through emptiness. Hear my prayer, damaged dreams, as I rise from the splinters of your deceit. Fuck your use and discard scheme just because the UK employment law allows you to do so. Fuck your fortress of entitlement that makes you believe your own shit too much. Here, inside the iron frame of my bed that I don't even own, in a newly rented room in a beautiful city center flat. Here, where my confidence grew new flesh out of old damaged tissue. Here, under the watching eyes of my gothic cat poster, I might die here, squeezing life at my chest. I might open myself up for one last massive adrenaline surge. If I die here, I will pray, in addition to pleading for the well-being of all loved and unloved ones, I will growl for one thing. The day you will get to find out if there is any life after death. They will open the door, let your eyes bathe in gold, your throats thirst for peace. Then shut the fucking door in your face. With your professional experience and excellent managerial skills, we are sure you will soon find a suitable place for your life after death. Thank you.
That's brilliant.
Thank you. I've never done.
Tremendously cathartic, that one.
Thank you.
Yeah. Brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you,
Catalina. That was a real blast. Okay. I want. Okay. I want. Deep breathing, Catalina. Deep breathing. Okay. I'm really hoping Alan will do his Basta Fash poem.
He's been holding the fort behind the scenes with me, particularly on the tech side.
Right. I mean,
I'll give it a go.
You give it a go.
Okay, mainly because I want to actually say something really brilliant, is that the Penally camp in West Wales is actually being closed after a big campaign by anti-fascists, anti-racists, because basically they sent a load of refugees and asylum seekers into a derelict army camp and basically left them to rot. And there's been big protests about it, and today we got the news that they'd actually closed the place down, or they're going to close the place down, which is a real great success, and hopefully they'll find somewhere more humane to house people who are desperately in need. Also, I just want to quickly mention before I go into the poem is to remind people of what Tim said earlier on about Mohammed Hassan and Mai Bashir, who died after being in police custody in South Wales. That they, within like weeks of each other, two black men basically were killed by police. Particularly moving is the Mai Bashir, who was having a bit of a nervous breakdown. His parents phoned 999, asked for an ambulance, and basically loads of police turn up, and his parents had to listen from their bedroom. Police kill their son in the other bedroom, and it's a horrendous story. And if you do come across it, please give it your support. But I would do my Smash the Fash, which I did write for Tim's poetry event a couple of months ago, and I thought I'd do it again now because I haven't got a more fitting poem for a UN Anti-Racism Day this Saturday. So here it goes. Okay. You think you're so hard, chanting your hate, hanging around with your baldy fat mate, building your ancient victories up, the Zulus, the Fenians, 2 World Wars and 1 World Cup. Your face turns red, refugees make you trigger, and you deny that you're racist when you use the word that should never be used. You spew out your lies through the gaps in your teeth and swastika flags from your windows underneath. I like winding you up because your veins start to poke with your eyes out on stalks like you're having a stroke. You're such a wanker playing with your thingy. You say all lives matter unless they're in a dinghy. Colston was toppled and Picton will follow. And if you don't stop your whinging, then my fist you will swallow. Hanging around at the gates of Penally, shouting abuse from your pathetic little rally. Mixed blood is a sin. Well, I've told you what's true. That we will soon win, because there's more of us than you. So go back to the sewer, you human disgrace. Go away, fuck off, get out of my face. Thank you.
Short, sharp and direct, but yeah, thanks for reminding us about the Penally camp. We hope
Team's frozen or something.
The nightmarish detention camp, really, which Penally was. Thanks for reminding us about that. Cheers, Alan. I always love that poem. It always cheers me up no end. Okay, so we've got we're coming to the close. We've got Richard Spisek, who I think is coming to us from Tennessee, and then we got Rhoda Thomas, who's the co-host and has put huge amounts of effort into organising tonight. So we'll kick off then with Richard Spisek.
Thank you, good people. Thank you, good people. When one of those terrible murders by police happened, I couldn't understand why there wasn't more good sense talked about, since anybody who knows anything about it knows that race is a lie. It is not scientific. So I wrote this, a behaviorist perspective, the causes of racism, the troop or group, the clan's glad hand, the sign of 9, the grip in the dark, the posted mark informs the stable state of norms, remembering the frames of membrane games, brain disguises, shade your eyes in apple pies, its sizes, the territory, the turf. Well, the good should. Our side of town, our group is right in the sight of good God's smile. Even sunlight reviles your kind outside the pure to lure with your kind's lazy, stupid stunts. A sparrow of a different hue could be torn and clove in two by a few of another blue hunt. The strength, bounding, bonding, unicellular life in multicellular strife, responding, besiding, ties the atom so tight, minute molecular might, and chooses in precise measure who you'll sleep with tonight. Beehives survive by tribes' trance. The queen's romance excludes the rude outsider, protects the provider, determines the rider of the queen's desire, embolden invaders, reduce the chance for the tribe to advance. Social groups and bamboo shoots, baboon troops and fishy schools know who the foe is, when to go, who's the friend, where's the end. The rules used training fools by Gene and Team Wish. That's culture's dish. It keeps the Portuguese man of war banging on the door. It explains to the colony who to hang on to and why. Cultural clash, like red ants and black as a reason to attack, is a common step to keep 'em hep to good guys and bad. But isn't it sad how often the supportive social ties, the tools of molecular rules, conceal the lack and leak of the social contract to the greater stack? The organs of your hand would be foolish to war or inflict harm on the arm. Could the leg force the knee to submit or flee? Could the brow to the forehead say, drop dead, be gone, am scray, and then in confusion sway against the neighbor's array? As this is, to make a fist to relate the cultural trait, a boundary in this or any country. Take Humpty Dumpty. He's really something to relate to the ground with a loud cracking sound. Unicellular or multicellular, in clothing and in motion, you're expressing the notion of your tribe. It doesn't hide, shouldn't try. But membranes even say, if you lean over easy this way, together is stronger, lives happier longer. Cultural rifts needn't cause tiffs or express fists in pain what it is when they mean the support of us. They needn't bleed trust or force us to must the membrane's edgy thrust. But if you say it must, symbiosis is being, osmosis its meaning, surely you know this. There's no relief in grief. Let tribal libel cease. Extend the grace of space. The use of social bonding to unite is great, but even edges meet and act to attract the surging urge to merge.
Thank you, Richard. A beautifully constructed poem, man, and a lovely ending.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you so much.
That's brilliant. Thank you. I should say, Richard runs a radio station from Tennessee called Poets of the East. Interviewed us, Rhoda and myself, some weeks back.
A great honor.
Definitely, well, and for us, excellent radio station, definitely worth checking out. Okay, so, Rhoda, are you there?
I'm here.
Right, you've got a slot.
Thank you. Well, I mean, first of all, I want to say that I've heard very little of any of it tonight because there's such a lot to do behind the scenes. So I'm looking forward to listening to it all on video and listening to it at my leisure. But I mean, I hope all of you will too, because I think we have actually created something that is, you know, a valuable historic document, really, of so many, you know, perspectives and passions and so on about racism, and the fact that people from all over the world have come together is, you know, it's just so heartening and wonderful, really. And since the point of the struggle, I mean, the point of how we win the struggle is through unity and solidarity. You know, tonight is a real example of that. That, you know, all of you, although, you know, we've done a lot to pull it together, it is all of you that have made tonight what it is, and I think that's absolutely fabulous. I'm actually a bit exhausted, and one of the reasons is not just, you know, working with Tim to put this together, but also, you know, as I know for a lot of us, particularly in Britain, it's been a hell of a week, particularly for women, with what's going on. I'm just putting up in the chat some of the things that I'm doing, and that includes, there we go, I think that'll work. Will that work? That includes, no, well, I'll do it in a minute. Giving a talk in 2 nights' time on ending violence against women, sexism, police and the state. And, you know, I know that's going to be a challenging talk for me to pull some of the thoughts about that together. I've been invited by, in Tish Camp's neck of the woods, to be in conversation about women and poetry, and, you know, the barriers to women being able to write about poetry. And I know some of that I will pull together in terms of fighting racism as well. I'm working, as Gary said, on the Harlem Renaissance and how people in the 1920s and 30s in America, you know, developed you know, poetry and art and dance and music and so on in Harlem, and the reasons and the context for all of that. And that we hope that people will come to and do their own research and reading and bring some poems from that era. And we all, again, you know, make it something that we construct together. It's not something that Gary and Tim and I are going to kind of, you know, be the only presenters. We want people to come. It's a workshop, and that's on Sunday the 25th of April. And so if you'd like to learn more, you know, through us all sharing and all reading a bit and bringing a couple of poems each and talking about them, then come to that on the Harlem Renaissance. And it might be, if that works well, we'll do another one on the Black Arts Movement and the Civil Rights era as well. And it's all part of us sort of educating ourselves really about, you know, the kind of poetry that's out there in terms of anti-racism. And I think I'm doing something else. Oh yes, my own poetry book, which I'll put on there. I'm doing a launch on the 2nd of May, which you'll hear more about. Anyway, I'm just going to finish with, people have done such wonderful poems from the bits that I have heard. I'm just going to read a very short one. I'm not even going to read my own. It's by a Jamaican woman poet called Jean Binter Breeze, and it's called Mother, Sister, Daughter. And if you should see me walking down the street, mouth muffled, head low against the wind, know that this is no woman bent on sacrifice, just heavy with the thoughts of freedom. Here we are.
That's brilliant. Right, so it's just my winding up statements. It's been just a wonderful, wonderful evening. I'm always impressed. I always say this, you know, the quality of some of the poetry, but tonight the quality and the power and the sheer emotion has combined with you know, really excellent constructed poems as well. So it's just been a brilliant night. You know, it's been worth all the stress. Speaking for myself, I don't know about Rhoda, but certainly. So it's been brilliant. I want to thank everybody. We've had a spectacularly good lineup with, you know, you can't say much about these pandemic conditions, but one of the things it has done is it's made us all in different parts of the world much closer together. And that's something that we need to carry over into what will hopefully one day be post-pandemic conditions. So it's just been a brilliant night. And I want to close just with a very short poem by Nikki Giovanni, who was a brilliant Black American writer, and I just love this one.
I think.
Right, okay, that is good. A brilliant poem called Black Power for all the beautiful Black Panthers East. But the whole thing is a miracle, see? We were just standing there talking, not touching or smoking pot, when this cop told Tyrone, "Move along, buddy, take your whores out of here." And this tremendous growl from out of nowhere pounced on him. Nobody to this very day can explain how it happened. And none of the zoos or circuses within 50 miles had reported a panther missing. Okay, guys, that's it. We're wind up. Thanks, everybody, for coming. Thanks for taking part. Thanks for listening. And take care. I will see you soon at another poetry night, I'm sure. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Amazing night. Bless you all. Brilliant.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you.
Well done. Thank you all.